seconds remaining.
Well, hello everyone and welcome back. It's StarLadder Season 12. We are in China. Well, we're not in China, but we're in the China qualifier Stage 1 action between these two groups of 8 teams. And today we're going to be closing out the first group with this matchup of EHOME taking on Invictus Gaming, or at least close out the time for IG. They're trying to finish out this group series run, being undefeated here, and they got a nice head start for it. This is a best-of-3 matchup between themselves and EHOME, and they just walked away with a win after a pretty exhausting game number 1. So we'll see if they can kind of close it out with a clean 2-0 sweep, or if EHOME are going to be able to bring it back 1-1 and take it to a game number 3. Action's being covered over here by Beyond the Summit on Dota StarLadder_EN, and I'm KotLGuy, and I'm not going at it alone. I got my good buddy back again, Cameron. Basskip, how's it going, buddy? So we'll see if EHOME can do it to even things up with IG and to lead things in with this draft. Still, respect ban on the silencer. But this time, though, they're going to balance it out with the Chen ban thereafter. Interesting stuff.
The silencer? I mean, they don't even ban Storm, but they ban silencer. That's... There's something going on. There's something going on. I mean, IG did run it yesterday. They had their troll silencer plus Spirit Breaker, but yeah, this first ban silencer is just. I guess the one thing to say is that that entire last game came down to initiation. It came down to who got the jump, you know, to blowing up heroes before they could use any of their farm, any of their abilities, and silencer is one of the best in the business at initiating and counter-initiating as well. So if that's what the games are coming down to, I think the silencer ban makes a little bit more sense. But yeah, I think there's some additional context that we're maybe missing as well. And well, the silencers banned, and Invictus Gaming, Fate's going to decide, look, Ferrari is just too damn good at Storm Spirit. We're taking it again. Throw whatever counters you want at it.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Ferrari played an amazing Storm Spirit, so IG are more than happy to take this. But yeah, that makes the silencer ban just seem so much more curious to me. So I guess we'll just not get our answer, and we'll have to find out maybe in the future of more IG games if they kind of unleash the silencer fury. But for now, at least, they have a Storm Spirit again on their hands. We got to see what they look to do to counter. Popular counters to Storm Spirit or other maybe silencer heroes, like your Disruptor works very good. You got the action of Glimpse, and Static Storm could be a nice potent ability, at least forcing someone like Storm Spirit to build something into like a BKB, which he might not be too comfortable with, and you know, I'll have to step away to do that. But also, you can get like a Doom for maybe your 4 position or off lane. I'm just curious how much value they put in on trying to take back to this Ferrari. But their second grab is also going to be the Jug, so we're going to have that burning Jug we were talking about in game number 1 draft.
Dire team back.
Yeah. IG is starting to get an idea now of, you know, what kind of staples they're going for. We saw the Juggernaut, I think, twice yesterday for them. The big discussion that I was having with Gods is that some teams aren't really prioritizing him as much as a first round pick at the moment, because people are starting to get more of a handle on what kind of heroes deal with them well. You know, often if you're picking up the Jug, you're sort of having to ban Axe and Queen of Pain and lots of other, you know, these other heroes that can give Jug a really hard time. But looks like IG have confidence in it the same way that they have confidence in the Storm, and just gonna snag it right here.
Gaming's turn to ban.
So. Now the Lion, the second grab. Yep. This time they pass over the Vengeful Spirit, so it's just funny to see minus armor bit. But Shadow Shaman, I guess a little. If a Lamb can't play it, no one can play it. It seems funny to me to see that maybe they also might prioritize that secured bit of lockdown. Tidehunter. China must be the only region that is still all about the Tidehunter. I mean, we saw PPD speak out about it in one of his interviews, or at least I believe it was his draft analysis video. And just based on the picks I saw over there, Tidehunter seems to be like when there's not a whole lot of other options left, they go for that. Whereas they put much more priority on being able to secure a Bat Rider within the first phase, and then they'll get something like maybe a Bristleback. We've even seen like Sand Kings, Earthshakers, you know, come out, and then of course the prized Broodmother, which could sneak in here. You never know. The Brood has been ignored up to this point. Luo's pick is still not really determined. We'll have to see if it's going to be a sneaky spider that could come into play.
Yeah, definitely going to have to keep an eye out for that. I think the one thing for EHOME about the Vengeful Spirit is that IG in
10 seconds
the previous
remaining.
game just dealt with the counter initiation way too well. They
5
barely
seconds
ever
remaining.
let Vengeful Spirit get a swap off. And I think that's also part of the big reason for prioritizing Tidehunter. They just jumped in, jammed Ravage, and it didn't even matter if the Shadow Fiend or the Ember necessarily BKB dodged it, but just keeping the Vengeful Spirit and the Shadow Shaman away for that entire duration meant that they could focus on the targets that they were actually going for. And yeah, as much as Tide, we don't see him prioritized as much, and I think there's good reason if games are more towards the mid game, which is the trend at the moment. The Ravage cooldown can be prohibitively long in some cases, but last game it really worked wonders. And RTK, he's running out of reserve time a little bit here. It looks like he's still considering exactly what he wants to go for.
He's like, what will I play? This is what most important. Last game we got to see an Elder Titan pop up, but this time Axe will be acknowledged. So this time they're going to grab it for themselves. And with that, you got a bit of a mannish lineup, and I think that option for the Luo Broodmother is going to be thrown on the side. I don't think we'll be seeing that. Going into something like an Axe rather could be a bit risky, though other teams have done it before. Your teams like Zai playing it on for Secret, they'll play it even if an Axe is on the other team or not. They just have a lack of respect or at least a bit of confidence in how they like to run their brood, and we'll have to see. For IG now, looking to secure what I imagine being their offlane and or secondary support, they're going to roll with the Ancient Apparition. I'm not seeing anything that directly is an Ancient Apparition counter. Like normally it's lineups that have a lot of sustain, maybe a Chen, a Wisp, any Omni Knight, anything that brings us some serious healing power, a Witch Doctor even, but here it seems a bit awkward. I could see maybe something with Cold Feet on getting on an Axe because he kind of plants himself in place and can make for an easy solidify, but outside of that, it's like, I don't know. It's interesting. Their level 1 game is going to be pretty good, so if they want to get aggressive with their roam, it's nice, but AA seems a bit interesting to me. And there's the Lycan response for EHOME.
I think there's a couple of things. One, like you said, the level 1 movement becomes really, really good. They can run around with the Vengeful Spirit and the Ancient Apparition and potentially get kills. The trend at the moment as well, I would say, with Axe is that you're not going to get away with jungling Axe unless the enemy team is running something like an Enigma or a Chen to begin with, where you can sort of afford to have the Axe in the jungle. And because of the threat of Axe being on the lane, I think IG also want to lock down their tri-lane as much as possible. You know, they can't afford to pick a weak tri-lane versus tri-lane support, and the Ancient Apparition is totally perfect for if EHOME had any thoughts of coming down there with an aggressive try, you know, throwing something like a Dazzle potentially in and running that. I think the Ancient Apparition completely disperses any thoughts of that. Also, I think you have to think of the Shadow Fiend as a mech carrier, just, you know, the way that people tend to build Shadow Fiends here in China, and I think the Ancient Apparition plays pretty nicely against that. It does leave them...
10 seconds remaining.
They don't have that much solid lockdown at the moment, and I think that's where the Lycan is really good for EHOME, because he might be able to chew through these supports if he gets some farm going.
So regardless of even having the Axe already on their team, they still want to make sure they ban out that Brood, and I really like the call you made. I think a Dazzle would be a nice pick here for EHOME. I mean, they already have the bits of minus armor there with Shadow Fiend. It could work nicely with Roche. It helps keep someone like Lycan alive and thriving. You know, even with the Wolves, you can have a minor heal bomb in that sense, and they can afford to have a more defensive, selfless kind of support there. So we'll see if it's something they do pull for. Invictus Gaming, though, I imagine Luo's grab, unless they make an audible call here at the end, it's going to be the Phoenix. All right, so you say nice. Tell me why this is nice. I'm very curious.
I think it's a pretty solid hero here. You're up against quite a bit of right click in the Lycan and the Shadow Fiend, so it's good for that. I think the other somewhat underappreciated aspect of Phoenix is the Sunray being a pretty solid counter initiation tool. If a single hero gets called, you can just start the Sunray on them, you know, try and survive through. We used to see Phoenix occasionally against Void, I think, you know, partially for that reason. And I'm just excited to see Phoenix in general as well. I think he's a pretty sweet hero. So that's the other big draw.
It's pretty sweet. Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah.
Look, good call, man. There it is. The Dazzle certainly fits the bill perfectly, and EHOME are onto it, and they grab it up for themselves. So not really too surprising there. And, well, Yeah, we'll have to see if it works out for him. I'm very intrigued from this Phoenix play. Normally when I see Phoenixes pop up, it seems to be into a very, very like synergetic lineup where they'll have something like a Treant Protector by its side so they can really get the most out of that Supernova. For here, it seems like it could be, I don't want to say a bit frantic, but my God, they have ways to initiate and close the gap between that, between what we already saw from Ferrari on his Storm Spirit. You know, this time, Burning won't have to be as like cautious with his sniper and trying to be in good position. This time he could be a bit more reckless with his jugging. We could see an IG lineup that's just very, very aggressive. Kind of similar to what we saw, at least what I saw from the highlight reel yesterday with IG's play. I think it was when they went against Tong Fu, and it was just ridiculous. They seem to be very mobile all over the place, and that seems to be the case here. And well, for EHOME and their Lycan kind of style lineup, it's, you know, do things in good succession, build up your early farm, maybe sneak in some objectives, grab the Roche, and go from taking down all the tier 1s, get the next Roche, get the tier 2s, get the maybe the next Roche, and then head for the high ground. More of your standard kind of a pace, where I think IG are going to be a little bit more bloodthirsty. That's just my early anticipation for this match, I'd have to say.
Yeah, there's not very many big cooldowns to be waiting around for either team this game, so it could definitely be a lot more action-packed. I'm definitely expecting to see a lot of those smokes chewed through in the mid-game.
Yeah, that one got me puckered up. That one got me puckered up right there, not gonna lie. Burning's like, ooh, hey, how are ya? And they don't commit the stun. Another game of early aggression coming out, and EHOME moving into the IG jungle. They do plant one ward to kind of see if anyone kind of crosses from one side to the other into the lane, but they don't fully move into the base. I mean, we already said in the draft, IG have a pretty scary level 1, so if they see someone like Burning, there's probably a good chance that he has backup behind him, and when you have your chilling touch, that spin, an early stun, someone's going to be going down, and more than likely it could be the side of EHOME. So I like the cautious play there from them. They decide to pull back after taking down the one ward, and now we're going to see both sides look to scout out. Top rune's going to be more dominantly claimed from the side of EHOME, while it looks like IG will be able to grab up the bottom one. But here we go. We're going to get games underway. This is the second game here for this best of 3. Did he snag that and fly away?
That was so sweet.
Oh, he snagged. He flew in, snagged that, and said, "See you later, nerds," and grabbed it.
Oh, that was just. Oh man.
I just figured they had that rune in the bag, but that is something that no other hero can really do. He just kind of does that whole U-turn, jump in, takes the rune, and just walks away. So IG take both runes, and the flashy plays come out early here from Luo.
You've got DDC making the right play there. Luo even managed to get a really decent block and got the range creep out in front, but DDC makes the counterplay and tanks the range creep to make sure that it ends up behind the melee creeps so that they can start pulling this lane back towards their tower and keep the Phoenix zoned out. And the support's also coming in with Howl just to put the Phoenix kind of in his place.
Both the top and bottom lane, they're looking to put in the overtime as far as bullying back those off-laners from getting a lot. ROTK on his axe as well has been eating some early punishment, especially from here in Faith. Faith's just like, oop, don't think about it. I'm going to dish out the right clicks here. And ROTK is going to have to begin to burn through those early regens. He's got 3 tangos, 1 salve. The bird has got 3 tangos and 1 that is shared. But he's going with the good old double ring build-up. That +6 armor right off the bat. Something Phoenix does need, being one of those few heroes that starts out with 0 armor. Having those 2 rings will help with this durability quite a lot. And I like this. Whoa!
He is just...
That caught me off guard. Burning does get the kill bottom lane. Eventually, it looks like RT goes too far. He gets chopped down. But another thing that you don't see from a lot of heroes, but Phoenix moves in there, gets aggro hit from the side camp, and that pulls the creeps over. And now look at this. He has the creeps under the tower to work with. Very nice.
I'm too busy looking at Luo's antics. Yeah,
I know.
Missed the first blood. But that is... Yeah, so... 1, he uses the dive to get the rune. 2... The dive gets that side pull, so he secures his level 2. Luo pulling out all the little plays, but he's looking very experienced on this Phoenix, and we're only 2 minutes into the game, so let's see what else he has in store.
Chuan got a DD and might be able to solo ROTK, but ROTK does get the call right there, builds up the armor, but that forces ROTK back away from the lane again, and he has to pop the salve, and he's like, you know what, screw this, I'm going to the jungle. I've had enough. No more bottom lane for me. Yeah, Burning's like, okay, fair enough. Now he's going to build up the farm, and we've seen plenty, at least through DAC, on what Burning can do on a jug when he's able to bring in the farm, and it looks like it starts now. So That'll be solid for him. Faith shares the dual lane XP with them, so he can get maybe a respected time level 6. I say that, but Chuan's already en route to help out, and he's got boots on in storage to come on out, so we could see him get a bit more mobile himself. Mid lane, Ferrari, he's at 12 and 6 CS to Shadow Fiend, another similar matchup between them. He's already warmed up to the matchup from the last game, and now he gets to do it one more time and go toe-to-toe with Inflame, who's at 11 and 2, and it looks like it's pretty similar to the last one there. It's just more Ferrari kind of having the early CS lead, but you know, Inflame eventually will build up the extra bit of base damage, and with the help of Necromancy, he should be able to bring in his own CS.
Yeah, I think Inflame's actually holding his own just a little bit better this game than the previous, so getting a little bit more of a handle on the matchup as things go. And he's got his bottle coming out, he's got his level 3 raises secured in just a second, so yeah, things are looking A-okay.
Let's see top lane, Luo. Cheeky plays on his bird. Always have that escape path to get away. And, well, that's the nice thing, I guess, IGF going for him. If EHOME are going to always respect ban something like a Silencer, then your Phoenix has one less hero to worry about. Silencer usually has his number, but either the Silencer like a Skywrath Mage, because even with a couple of disables, it's going to be hard to bring down this bird, especially with all this armor. He always has the possibility of just flying away, and he even lets DDC know, like, hey, I see you there. What do you think you're doing? Don't try to come harass me, but they might have his...
He gave away his ward there a little bit, but yeah.
Yeah, he's like, I don't know how he saw me, but they have a ward somewhere. But they are going to commit the go here. Double stun. Luo will dive out. So there you have it. Going to be hard to get him. He has no more regen here, so he'll just try to maybe leak some XP. But overall, it's going to be him having to walk back to base and heal on up. And, well, we'll see ROTK goes to the jungle now. He's probably just going to look to farm up and go either directly towards a blink or something to kind of make a bigger impact into the mid game as it develops. But for now, he's been delegated to be on jungle
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Yeah, I think it's still worth it there for EHOME to force out the dive and get the Phoenix out of the lane. Lets the Lycan kind of get things back where he wants them and continue to get some uninterrupted farm. Also, forcing the offlaner out makes it a little bit easier for them to go for this potential smoke. But unfortunately, they missed the ward that they knew was there. They put down the sentry, but actually ended up missing it. So because of that, they know that they've been scouted and they're not actually going to end up going for the smoke, just setting up some further stacks in the jungle. But much better for them than wasting time.
I really like that ward on the side. I mean, they looked for the common spot right here, where usually you just ward here and close, and you can maybe even block the camp if you wanted to and didn't want to go for the pull or something. But because they put the ward so deep, it dodges the sentry, and he'll still have that extra bit of intel on the side, and Luo can feel a bit more comfortable about his off-lane experience here. He's level 5, and he'll look to push and get his level 6. And I'm curious to see if Luo's going to be doing the common trend I've seen recently for a lot of these Phoenixes, you know, get your Midas underway, because you need that XP burst, you need those levels, you want to get that egg into high potential earlier on.
Yeah, leveling up his ult is just such a substantial improvement. You know, you're often ending up with only a couple of auto attacks remaining when it pops, and the extra 3 really counts for a lot.
Whoop, there's Chuan popping in from behind, sees Lanham. Lanham's going to be able to get off the grave, and now they make the jump onto Ferrari. Oh, ball forward, but can't get far enough. It's going to be a 1-for-1 trade, possibly a 2-for-1 as Luo looks to interject, and he's only welcomed with a kill himself. So it's going to be a 2-for-1 trade, advantage for EHOME. Convenient, it looks like, for them, as ROTK was nearby. I don't think they were anticipating that when Chuan and Ferrari led into that engagement, but it's EHOME who get the better one.
Yeah, clutch grave from Lanham and RTK being in the right place at the right time to get the call off and secure those kills. So, yeah. Neck and neck, 2-2. Another very even game shaping up so far.
And it looks like ZYF using this bit of free farm top lane. He's going to go right for those Vlads, the early tool belt for your potential early Roche. Just doing Lycan things like Lycan does. And meanwhile, you can see checking back on mid lane, Inflame going to be able to throw together his treads, but it's smoke time here as they kind of hide it behind the tower. Looks like they're going to make a move right towards IG's territory here. I was going to say maybe Roche, but they're probably going to have to wait till like someone like Lanham is able to throw together a medallion. So with this, they move on to the bottom where there's Faith. Uh-oh. Faith. Faith is done for. I don't know what the hell he's going to do. Uh-oh. Gets turned to a frog and gets wrecked. Another way to say it, DDC gets that kill as they execute a very nice smoke gate to take out the support on bottom.
Dire's middle
Yeah.
tower
And also a
is
little
under
bit of
attack.
making that gank a little bit more plausible, sending RTK over towards mid, so showing a few more heroes on the map. But IG might get the courier here.
Hey, how you doing? Free courier.
Dire's courier
Wow,
has been
good
killed.
grab. 500 cargo on it. Actually, bummer. Oh, I do have it hotkeyed. And it does have the Vlad's. The Vlad's would have been complete, but looks like they're going to have to wait it out. Good bonus bounty right there for IG. That's the second time we've seen the courier fly from over there, and I thought it could have almost been grabbed, but this time they do get it. Look at how aggressive they are, though. They're just kind of camping themselves in the EHOME woods, maybe hoping for someone to show themselves mid lane. It could be Inflame. It's walking right up to him. They're going to get the go, but RTK once again could be at the right place, but never mind. Wow, he got killed real quick. That quick crit came out from Burning, and they just ended the life of Shadow Fiend immediately. But now they're going to make a go on to Chuan. Chuan walks back, gets out the stun, and now a re-engagement breaks out from IG as they go on to ROTK. He's going to get the preemptive grave from Lanham to save him, and a nice zoning stun from DDC will slow down Burning. And look at that, a buyback. Look at this, buyback now. Haste going to be popped from Inflame. He better get something for it. He's going to look to run down Chuan with it. There's going to be one raise and one long one is going to seal the fate of Chuan. Now looking for another. He wants to chase down. He hit the ward, man.
Expired.
Oh, it did expire. Okay. Well, he's got it. This haste rune. Oh! Right before the grave, or the raise rather, goes off, he goes to the egg. Life-saving egg, if I'd have to say. And Luo will live on.
Okay, so EHOME they do end up losing the axe at the end of the day, and the Shadow Fiend also pops a buyback. They only get the Vengeful Spirit as the trade, but they do somewhat protect this stack, which IG had in fact scouted out by this very deep observer ward. So that's had they lost that stack, that would have been really brutal for RTK. But he's still a ways away from his blink, despite grabbing that. I guess a lot of it grabbed by Inflame there.
Yeah, Inflame is like, my stack, mine. And he like bursts through the good chunk of it and just leaves poor RTK with some table scraps to go towards his blink dagger. So Inflame maybe just like, I lost a lot there. I died and I bought back and I only got that one little support kill. Had he got the double, then maybe it'd been more worth the time and the investment. But he makes the best of it. ROTK trying to make the best of his slower start in that off lane. He got caught out with that first blood and then was eating an early bit of harassment and had to go through his regen, sooner than he'd like. Now he's trying to play catch up in the jungle. And ZYF, who's been relatively quiet, of course, on his Lycan, is still waiting to complete out that Vlad's, which was dropped with the courier. And no real movement towards that Roche quite yet, but ZYF is another one of those things you don't want to be sleeping on your Lycan. Sooner than later he could pop up and start taking side objectives or getting involved in these fights before you even notice.
Yeah, both of the teams are making the same play here. They've pushed their 1 position over into the jungle, where they can grab really good farm, and they've put their 4 position support on the lane to grab levels, and in DDC's case, also his Blink Dagger coming up pretty soon. So both teams making really good use of the map.
Whoa.
Ice Blast. DDC.
Grave is fine, but what about the duration of both? Grave will last what looks like, nope, not long enough. And he goes down. Good catch right there. Faith with the J from downtown. Gets the catch from bottom lane. Very nicely done. Now, I got to ask, I'm not a big Phoenix player, but when he goes into Icarus dive, if he gets called halfway through, it will stop the dive, correct?
Yeah, you can get stunned out of the dive. No problem.
They tried to catch him with that one, but it didn't happen. Meanwhile, you see Storm Spirit able to use this double damage as he's able to get a nice quick kill on the mid lane, taking out Shadow Fiend. At top, at that same moment, we see the back end of that one. They're able to get a jump onto the Phoenix and crack the egg open, take him down. So, Ice Blast for their troubles. ROTK could get snapped from it, and I think he will. He's
by the cloak.
Didn't need it. Didn't need it.
That was close. My goodness. Very, very close. He was down to like, what, 130? What's the threshold at level 1? It looks like
10%.
10%. I don't know math, so
94.8. Yeah.
Okay. It was close. Maybe one more tick would have done it, but not enough. Okay, well, back at square one, 6-5. IG ahead as far as kill goes. For net worth, they're also up and ahead, just slightly above 3K, and XP about the same. So they're in a relatively comfortable position. That pick off on the Shadow Fiend certainly helping there. But here's Burning. No Shadow Blade this time. Looks like this time he's going to get a hold of the Yasha, at least for now. We'll have to see what he goes from there. But we've been waiting and asking for it. ROTK able to throw together his Blink Dagger. We'll see how much use he can take out of it. Oh, there we go. Mid lane, or side chop rather. They get the quick jump, taking down the Lycan. ROTK now could be in trouble. Grave is going to help him withstand for now, but Burning's going to be persistent on chopping him on down. Lanham's going to go down at the same moment right there. And so it's a double drop, making it 3 down all day. IG lose none. Inflame Requiem from the high ground does get the kill. AA is going to be taken down, but they get a quick revenge kill right there, taking out the Shadow Fiend. IG all day on that one, moving ahead 10-6 and bringing in a nice chunk of change, about what looks like 2,200 gold swing their way.
Dire's structures are fortified.
Just the wording making all the difference there. I think seeing maybe 1 or 2 EHOME heroes up there as IG are moving around and able to pick up all of those really clean kills and grab themselves this tier 1 tower on the mid lane. So IG actually really now starting to open up a bit of an advantage. And EHOME, they're starting to get the tools to try and turn things around, but they've always just been 1 step behind. The DDC dying top, he's really close to his Blink Dagger, but not quite. RTK has been delayed a little bit on his Blink, so his potential impact is now starting to look not questionable, but he has definitely been delayed, and well, EHOME just have to find the same thing that IG have been finding, which is some of these pickoffs and a little bit of recovery that way.
They have enough to go on mid lane here. Ferrari does decide to park himself. He could be in trouble with a jump in from ROTK. DDC does have the finger. Oh no, he doesn't. It's on cooldown. So no, that's probably why they didn't make the jump. And Lanham is here as well, but that's not enough. Looking at Ferrari, he's going with the same build he did before. He's got the what looks like straight to Bloodstone build up. And well, I was questioning it last game, and look what happened. He was MVP, and they ended up coming out with the win on the back of him getting those pickoffs and those big plays and that shorter respawn. So what do I know? He's able to make it work, and he's going to look to do a bit of the same here in game number 2.
It just farms way too well. I think that's the thing. It's a natural build-up with the Soul Ring change, and if you were looking at the net worth last game, Ferrari, I think, was on top of net worth for 95% of the game. And that's just because he had a bunch of Bloodstone charges, he's mobile, he can clear camps fast, and kept up the farm, was 6-slotted, had the buyback money. If you can get away with it, I think it is really the best build for Storm at the moment.
They're going to scout this Roche right now. The Wolf spots it out. Roche is only down to about half life, so EHOME can easily contest here. ROTK on the high ground, blinks over and away from Chuan, gets the jump inside the pit, but can the rest of the team make it in? They move forward. Chuan going to get targeted back and behind. They isolate and get a hold of the Phoenix and take him down as he goes into the egg form. Inflame from the high ground cancels the Requiem. On the other side, Burning on the slash, wipes out the rest, and they'll be able to make the jump on the Inflame. Requiem from the high ground does a lot of damage, but not enough quite yet to finish off Ferrari. Jumps to the low ground to get away while Burning slowly slashes. Boom. Bang. Get the bong. Bong. Damn. Gets it done there. Unstoppable Burning as they do a 5-man wipe on the side of IG. Maybe not enough resources? Yeah, they will. They'll go in and now finish out the Roche. But this game starting to not look quite as close as the last one there. This one's looking pretty good for IG. Oh, I say that. Look at that. RTK. Wow, they step back, anticipating the jump or something. He catches no one, and now he's just going to hand over his own life. A freebie in the Roche pit for them. But now DDC comes in. Finger onto Ferrari. Burning's going to go down. Ferrari could go down next. Might go down. Battle Hunger was going to be taken off, but he's just like, please don't notice me in the corner. Please don't notice me. He just sits there. Lanham's going to get dropped after a shallow grave ends. Everyone's back from the dead, using this access point nearby to just get back into the pit. But look at the book. Slowly creeping forward, and now it's EHOME going back into the pit. What the hell's happening? Barely alive, they lose even more from that. But this time EHOME just kind of get the final say as the dust settles in the back end of that fight.
Dota is what's happening. That is what is happening right now. This is very Dota. That's the one thing to say. Going back to the initial fight, I think Luo totally won it for them. He died, but he got the spirits down on the Lycan. He put the egg in a great position. So EHOME were forced to split up their fight and abandon the axe. And once again, he's coming in.
Egg on the high ground. They can't see it, but they can certainly feel it. It's enough to get him away from the pit, but as soon as it ends, they go right back in to finish what they started. And ZYF is the one to get it and grab up the agents. But the fight starts on the outside. as they're going to make a go. Tron gets nipped down. ROTK saved and healed up with the Grave. Faith trying to retreat and get out, and Burning also brought down. So EHOME now back in a very dominant position, just as I was boasting about IG taking control. It's EHOME taking this game back, as now they'll be able to secure a kill on the Faith. Nicely set up there from DDC with that Earth Spike. So look at this, how things quickly turn right back around. EHOME win back-to-back engagements and take the Rosh in the Aegis.
It's DDC's revenge. He got denied on every counter initiation in the previous game, and now he's just dropping perfect initiations every time in this one. I mean, Burning ran in there with Basskip Madness active, got 0 spells off, and just died in the duration of the Lion Chain Stun. So a chaotic couple of minutes, but I think EHOME in the end coming out on top.
All right, well, EHOME showing they got plenty of fight in them. Not looking for IG to kind of take control of this game too early. It's on them to move forward and start taking objectives here. They do a little bit of work here on the tier 2, but they decide to pull back. Inflame will head right back towards the top lane, and look at the items fly out. This time your Shadow Fiend Inflame is going to go Shadow Blade, and he starts using it. You don't see that very often. The first item, Shadow Blade on Shadow Fiend.
Unfortunately, it has already been spotted by a Radiant Ward, so Inflame not going to get a freebie off the surprise factor, but as items go, this is a big departure from what we saw from him in the previous game. Last game, he was the frontliner, he was the tank. This time around, much more of your glass cannon, I think, trying to initiate fairly late into the fight and take advantage of the Shadow Blade to burst whoever DDC happens to find on the line.
Yeah, this is a build I see on my pubs with Shadow Fiend sometimes when they're just like, I want to get in there and do my big Requiem, and I'm going to get a Shadow Blade to do it. Maybe it'll catch him off guard, though. I'm going to try to use it here with the smoke, helping him out. They dangle their Lycan out in front in hopes that maybe they can bait something from IG. But there's going to be the jump. They scout out Luo, and they take him out. Phoenix goes down, and EHOME feel a lot more comfortable about finishing out this tier 1 and do so. While they pressure this mid lane, Ferrari decides to split push a bit. He has his Bloodstone complete with 8 charges. But he's just trying to get objectives done elsewhere. Not quite as dominant of a Storm Spirit that we saw at this point in time in the previous game, but still looking to bring together the farm so we can do a bit of a run back here. Might not be as easy. EHOME continue their assault down mid lane. Tier 2 now in jeopardy. Should go down. This is big gold into the pocket of EHOME. We're talking about 2 towers going down back to back. The net worth is going to be now squared back and even. This could be the first time in this series that EHOME will have a net worth lead.
Actually, yeah, I don't think they held one. Did they hold one briefly in the previous game?
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure that they never, even when they were at their best and they took down the Rax and the tier 3 mid, IG still had like a 2K net worth lead.
Yeah.
But they're looking to change that.
Yeah, I think the one big thing to obviously that fight at the Roshan pit ended up great for EHOME, but there's also something to be said for the mentality of both teams and just the willingness for everybody to listen to the call to just keep going back. You know, whether or not it was a mistake for either team to continue to re-engage, there was no hesitation from either side. You know, whoever made the call, everybody followed, everybody kept charging right back into it. And if things had played out just a little bit differently, if Burning had been just a little bit more cautious on the positioning, for example, it could have easily been IG's advantage. But looks like they're just going to keep waiting out the Aegis for the time being, just about another minute to wait there. But EHOME doing as much damage as they can in the meantime.
Your BKB just about complete here for CYF on his Lycan after already completing that Necro 3.
Flame.
But very close for Inflame. He actually uses the Shadow Blade and looks to sneak on forward onto Burning. Thinks he has an easy grab. Requiem canceled once. They go into the spin as ROTK jumps into trouble. He will be brought down, and now they want more. Moving on in, Yules is going to be popped off right there, and the egg to follow. They get a nice twofer at what was going to be a hopeful engagement for EHOME. Turns out to be a bit of a rude awakening. Double kill of all people for Faith on his AA. So, and he has a Midas. He's going to be stringing together an Agnums pretty fast. And Agnums AA is just nothing to scoff at.
And EHOME thinking that they were thinking that RTK was somehow seen coming down there, but it seems like IG actually had a handle on where the Shadow Fiend was and got that preemptive sentry down. So I think either way, Shadow Fiend was dead, but RTK unfortunately also ends up being baited into that, and IG grabbed himself some extra kills. So, like you said, they do almost have the BKB on the Lycan. Another jump top, Luo.
Yep, the 1-2 punch, Earth Spike Finger, but with that Yules, it creates enough time for him to make his slippery escape. Oh no, now that Ice Blast is going to land. Is it level 2? It certainly is. Will we see the pop? DDC saying his prayers. He'll be fine. So, with that, that's the difference. When the Agnums comes together, not going to be so lucky, DDC. Not going to be so lucky. So, we'll have to see how long it will be before that Agnums comes up, but that is a finger down and an unsuccessful gank attempt right there for the side of EHOME.
And so what else do we have going on? We've got a gem picked up for Faith. He actually grabbed that one himself. So that is going to slow down the Ags just a little bit, but I think well worth it when you've got this Shadow Blade SF running around. In Flames going for BKB. And we'll see if EHOME are going to try anything aggressive or if they're considering waiting around for Roshan. Roshan isn't necessarily a free objective for them by any means. They can split push, but the danger is the Storm pickoffs, and also fighting around the Roshan pit is pretty hard, especially against the Egg, which is like the one place where Luo can get really good ultimates off. So they're just going to go for the smoke and see if they can find something.
They had a bottle DD here for Shadow Fiend. They're going to cross past Burnings there. It gets immediately called. Now they're going to make a go on to him, but the swap is there to save him. Requiem is going to be unleashed. ROTK is going to be the first to fall. Omni flies out. Grave to keep Inflame alive. Not enough. He gets dropped. Double kill for Faith. And now the Lycan looking to chop home the rest and going to work on Chuan right now. Gets the kill there. Double kill for your Lycanthrope. But he ends up being dropped thereafter. Lanham, your only survivor. Big fight for IG. Though they do lose Burning at the start, they do come out the victors at that one, and they get a nice 2K gold swing their way.
Another big egg from Luo, and a great swap as well from Vengeful Spirit getting Burning back after only the one-man call, unfortunately for RTK. I just don't think that EHOME were expecting to run into heroes coming right through that patch of trees. Normally you're expecting to see somebody down in the neutral camp or something along those lines, and just not able to find multiple heroes there. I think if he somehow manages to jump both the Chug and the Venge, then fight goes completely differently, but that's just how the cookie crumbles sometimes.
Well, up to that point, it felt like Ferrari, a bit more quiet this game than the last one. The opportunity's not quite as there. Goes, tells that bird to put his arms down, and starts going to work, farming up here on the side. He's got one Oblivion Step already complete. Got the gold for a second one as he tries to finish out that Orchid. His Bloodstone that he did invest in first and foremost, though, is sporting 13 charges, so he has a good bit of substance there behind him. And it looks like Chuan taking this moment to put up the Imba ward on the high ground right now, so they will see the stack happening for ZYF. I wonder if they look to make the play here on him if he does go for this double stack. They are nearby. Do they have a smoke? Anyone got a smoke? Who's got the blaze stuff? Who's got the good stuff? No one's got the dank, so not going to be holding out on that quite yet. So looks like just back to farming as it is for now. As Chuan drops down a pretty aggressive ward. Looks like he is spotted. They ping it. So they probably will look for the sentry here soon.
Yeah, so Roshan pops back up. The Dire are aware they sent a Lycan Wolf over in there. It is a relatively early respawn, so EHOME might be able to go grab that, but you can already see IGR. They're not letting any Roshan sneak out from under their nose in this game, and yeah, there you go. They're gonna head in. It looks like we are up for another big Roshan battle coming up soon.
Yep. Last time it looked like it was a strong head start for IG, but then EHOME suddenly kind of took the fight back and were able to walk away the Roche victors in that occasion. But this time might be a bit different. They think about making it go in, they scout out the Wolf, and then they kind of reconsider it. That Wolf coming in now will be spotted from the sentry ward. Burning doesn't see it quite in view, so EHOME kind of get an idea as far as where the sentry could be. Plant the sentry a little too far back, but Lanham has another one here if he wants to drop it. But very cautious play. It looks like for now EHOME able to bully back IG out of the woods to try to create a good set of space for themselves to make a move into the pit. IG, though, like you said, they don't want to hand anything over too easy. This is where things are tense. Look at Burning, man. He's manly as ever. Just happy to kind of walk into the pit and reconfirm that Roche is still there, which it is. But they also have this good high ground ward. Oh, no, it was dewarded. Oh, nicely done for Lanham. So they're in the dark. I'll look at their vision right now. They have no vision by that Roche pit as it stands right now, while EHOME have a much better spread as far as what's going to be happening near this Roche pit.
Yes, so IG just fighting for position on this tier 2 mid, trying to draw EHOME away from Roshan at the same time, and playing it very defensively with Burning on the front lines. He's got his Scotty, he's tanky, he's got his healing ward behind him. Ferrari just looking for something easy pick off somewhere.
Yeah, he's doing funky things. He gets spotted. Inflame was in his Shadow Blade at the time and scouts him out and sets up an easy kill. That's an unfortunate situation there for Ferrari. EHOME make the best of it and get the quick snag on the Storm Sphere, but because of that Bloodstone, he's actually back in like 8 seconds time. It's not quite enough to allow EHOME to easily move into the pit, but it's definitely a step in the right direction. And now BKB is going to be complete. That could have been the ticket they were waiting for here. Inflame will pick up the fresh 10 seconds.
IG's lane position is so bad now.
Yep.
If they lose this, I think they're gonna lose objectives. Ferrari doing his best to reset bottom, but mid and top both pushing in, and we go back to the standoff around the Roche pit.
Yeah, 3 range creeps and a catapult working on their top tier 2 right now, so this is bad timing for IG. They still, I mean, this time Burning's going in for it. Oh, now he pulls out. Look who's coming in from behind. They're doing the hokey pokey here, circling around each other. The weed's going to get dropped, and they jump in from behind on the Luo. They want to take down the bird, but the swap back saves him for now. He dishes up to the other side, still has the egg, but meanwhile DDC could be isolated in the mid ground. Inflame moves forward. They strike, take down Chuan. Chuan's going to have to buy back now. And for the rest of IG, they move themselves towards the southern side as they try to get a hold of Lanham here. Lanham self-grave, TP, not going to happen. Vortex pulls there, and they should be able to clean him up. But EHOME, not very comfortable with this. Not like in this fight right now. IG get the upper hand, even though they were the ones to come in from behind. Things did not go according to plan.
I mean, if you look at the trades, it's 2 for 2, and IG actually ended up losing the Jug. EHOME only losing supports, but they're not going to go back in and try and contest here, actually. Inflame's all the way off on the other side of the map. I mean, looks like IG still going to be able to take this down despite not having the Jug. It's pretty slow, though.
Oh, they could still get a big jump in call. Ferrari wary of this, though. Moves himself out and away. They might have spotted ROTK from that wave. Shadow Fiend en route coming back right now, though. And there's going to be the jump. Ferrari looking to get a hold of one. Moves between both of them. Gets the grab on the DDC. There goes the Sunray. But here's Inflame coming in from behind. Gets the kill on Chuan. That was a dieback for Chuan. Requiem after the Yules. Finishes off the bird. Luo goes down. Now it's just Ferrari and Faith with low mana. Burning is back from the dead, as he wants to still contest here. But the Aegis is going to be snagged. They still want to fight. Burning wants to man up right now, and that might not be the good thing to do. He spins and quickly gets the hell out of there. As EHOME comfortably take their Aegis and walk away from any additional skirmish. IG not happy with this, though. They don't want to let him get away with this. Get the Yule's catch on the Inflame, and they dish out the Sunray damage. But he's able to kind of Shadow Blade himself away. IG not happy about this whatsoever. They kind of disperse, but it's EHOME who come out big. It's 21 to 28 rather, in favor of IG, but now it's EHOME slowly crawling their way back into this game.
That's kind of weird from EHOME. I wonder if I saw Inflame walking off over towards top burn, and I think he ended up grabbing a haste over there, but I don't know if they even had vision on it. I think maybe he was just, okay guys, so either they were doubting themselves about whether or not they could contest, even though Jug was dead, or the call was made, okay guys, it's going to take them a really long time without Jug. I'm going to go get some healing off this rune, and then I'll join you in a little bit. But either way, ends up working out great for EHOME, and Juggernaut just not really able to get all that much done, is showing off, you know, that there are definitely some counters and weaknesses.
Force forward, blink. ROTK makes the jump, committed onto Faith, and they get the kill. Chuan could be next, just trying to get whatever stragglers they can before they can make it into home base. Chuan will make it into the safety zone, but Faith not so lucky. EHOME, do they push forward here with their numbers advantage? It looks like they do. Now, Faith does have a buyback. If he wants to buy back and dish out an Agnum's Ice Blast, could be necessary here. And there it will be. We'll see if EHOME look to spread. Oh, no, they just take the 1-force buyback and walk away. They will not commit.
I'm just going to call it a day for now. They don't have the finger, so the burst potential is a little bit lacking. They've still got the Aegis for another 3 minutes, so they can at least reset that. But I think the other factor is that committing there, they've only got the potential to take a single lane of racks, and as much as that's great, it's so dangerous committing into a big base fight against the Storm Spirit. I mean, he's got pretty much the most valuable buyback in the game, and if EHOME overcommit there, then they could lose everybody, you know, Aegis or not. So I think it's pretty wise to back off there. When you've got a Lycan, you really want to be setting yourself up to potentially take 2 lanes when you come in, because if you win a big fight, you can totally clear out a base with that hero.
Burning.
Problem, so.
Sees ROTK. Give me that one Tyrannosaurus Rex. Takes that Ancient. Leaves. Quick reaction there from ROTK. Might have saved him a bit from an isolation kill. And, well, IG will step away from that for now. Looking it over, though, it's Aegis in the pocket of your Lycan. So EHOME confident to kind of decide where this game goes as far as tempo at this point. They made a push towards mid lane just a bit ago, but we'll see now as the back end of the timer here for this Aegis life. EHOME converge and look to go towards what I imagine being a top lane push. Ferrari trying his best for now to kind of keep it pushed back, but we'll have to see if IG want to defend this tier 2 or let it fall and risk taking this game further into the late game period.
It's amazing how little vision each team is forced to play with. Both teams are so on top of all of the dewarding and everything else that it's just you're kind of running around in the dark at all times. It's very reminiscent of like there's about as much vision as a low-level pub, but they're making use of every little scrap that they get.
The nice thing, though, for EHOME is they have the Lycan, and he's been using those wolves very well to kind of keep track and, you know, scout out IG in their own woods, find out where they are, and make the openings. IG also have been very good about having sentries on hand and eliminating those wolves from getting all that extra bit of intel, but sometimes it's just too hard to stop. And when you're a support and those wolves are on your ass, it's just like the worst thing ever. So, you know, they see exactly where you are, and you have a hard enough time taking them down as it is. So EHOME do have that going for him. Burning, though, could be in trouble here. Quick spin. He's on the run. Even dishes out the Manta for this one. But they're still on a chase. Force forward. ROTK. Man, that's a lot of spins on the creeps. But here's Ferrari jumping in. Gets a hold of ROTK. And they have to quickly pull back for Ferrari to save ROTK. The save is there. Lanham gets a very late, but gets chopped there and taken down. It's Jug getting the last hit. How did he get that last hit? Was that with an illusion?
Yeah, there was... The Manta illusions were going after him. DDC managed to use the mana drain on one, but couldn't get the Hex off in time. And the last auto attack as the Grave was fading killed him. It was like a matter of a fraction of a second. But there you go.
Big grab for Burning, considering he was the one that was initially going to be jumped on. Ends up being him walking away with the only kill. So how things have changed. And IG are going to be happy with that small little morale boost. But hey, EHOME. It looks like they're not going to be able to utilize that Aegis whatsoever. The stall works out here for IG for now. And I guess with that bit of momentum, they smoke up. They're going right towards EHOME's side here. Let's see what kind of play they can make. Creeping on in. Burning, leading out the charge. Omni/Ready. He's got a sexy new Scotty. Basher now on hand. Will he find the catch here? Well, they go towards mid, and it looks like they'll just push tier 2s. Look at EHOME. They're already cowered up in their base defending high ground.
Yeah, the gank was already pretty suspicious because of bottom lane and Phoenix revealing himself as well, so I'm just going to make this safe play here.
We'll get the quick drop of the tier 2 tower. IG will pull away with their winnings for now. And it could go back to their separation of farm and maybe just wait for another tension time at the Roche pit, I guess. But EHOME probably not feeling too comfortable. Just tried to go for a big gank there on bottom and ended up blowing up back in their face. They realized the potential of Ferrari at this point. Let's put together some big farm. Now feels a bit more comfortable having this BKB on hand from here. probably looking to invest into the Sheik Stick. At that point, we saw what he could do in the previous game. EHOME have to be wary of that. So we'll see as they scout out the high ground using the courier. It's Inflame nearby the neighbor. Happy to farm up some camps. And this goes back, as it looks like here, to more of that meticulous farm period before we get another big breakout. Oh, I say that, but there's a jump mid lane. Arokite's dead. Tries to make a jump on the Chuan or something, and there's going to be a swap back at Burning getting a quick kill.
Yeah, unfortunately just totally out in no man's land. That is... That's somewhat of an ROTK play. Just it seems like sometimes... It happens to everybody, right? But in a pro context, I think a lot to RTK that, you know, sometimes you just don't think about all the risks. You're coordinating some play with your team. You're talking about, okay, guys, I'm super close to BKB. Roshan is around this time, and you just end up a little bit too far out. Swap, you're dead. But it might be happening again. Do IF on bot. IG once again looking for the pickoff, but this time around, they think, okay, this is too good to be true. It's too close to the tier 2. We're not going to go for it.
Yeah, IG had been waiting in the wings for maybe something to break out. That opportunity will not be there. And it looks like they decide to have Luo to help out Burning there, making a little bit of push there in the top lane. He does have his Shiva's Guard put together now. And he's level 16, so that Supernova now maxed out to full potential, and he got there without even having to build up a minus along the way, so good for him. Up and above, Burning after a couple of sweet picks. 2,700 gold, obviously reserving a bit of that for his buyback, but possibly looking to complete out his Abyssal Blade. More of a damage buildup as opposed to the regular mobility speed that we see Burning do on his jugs. This time it's just more overall stat gain and big right-click damage, and he's a beast. We'll have to see if EHOME really have the answer for him. That best answer comes from Inflame, who isn't quite up to par, at least with Burning as far as farm. Shadowblade, BKB, which is down to 9 seconds. Manta, 1,700 gold saved up. Mid lane, though, there's going to be the jump. Yep, and he just dies the second I come over. And they're going to get a follow-up kill, it looks like, here on the land. I'm silenced up. No opportunity to get the grave off. His gem hits the deck. Burning's like, that's mine now. Thank you very much, my former DK friend. It's going to be my gem. He walks away. 32-22. It's the 3-2-2-2 for both sides. As now maybe they watch out for the Roche, which will be up in about, what, 40 seconds time? We'll see if IG just kind of stall out till then.
Yeah, IG just with the almost it's just the intimidation factor on the map. Both teams have similarly awful vision right now with all the constant dewarding, but just IG willing to go out, drop the swaps on heroes, get that initiation, and continue to find the pick. RTK once again denied his BKB. He's gotten so close twice now, but both times IG have been there to punish him. The one thing that I kind of want to bring up, but it's something that's hard to mention in casts sometimes, but a lot of the decision making to do with where teams are taking team fights at the moment. It's not only position in terms of, okay, how close are we to our base? What are we risking? If we take this fight, there's also a lot of, there's the high ground positioning and also having any semblance of vision. And EHOME are much more willing to take a fight around a ward that they've somehow been able to establish, but just hasn't happened for them. And they're going to go for another smoke here. Very similar to that play that they went for earlier in the Radiant Jungle, which didn't end up panning out, but we'll see if it's better off this time around.
Yeah, this time moving down the mid lane, Inflame leading out the charge. No one nearby. Burning close, but he's already en route to the south. So EHOME changed directions and move a different course here. Could catch Faith, run behind, will, jump in, call, he's got to connect. Quick finger swap save, though, from Chuan, sacrifices himself for the greater good. And moving on forward, Luo on the right-hand side, they're able to get the quick burst in the secondary support. Omni Slash on the Landon, but he's got the Ghost to live and withstand it. They end up trading 2 for 1, RTK double pump back onto Ferrari. Here comes the rest of the company, they just slaughter him as he gets dropped down. Manta's still sticking around here for Burning, but he is already long gone. It's EHOME who come out big on the back of that smoke, walking away with nearly a 3k gold swing, and look at how convenient. They just segue themselves beautifully into this Roche pit and will also secure an Aegis.
That was so lucky, but also so well played by Lanham. He ends up with the Omni Slash on him, immediately splits away from his entire team, pops the Ghost Scepter, and wastes all of Burning's time. there. Lots of nice little plays in that fight, but I think that was the real game changer there by Lanham.
Yeah, that ghost must have been catching Burning off guard. He just pulls him away from the fight. Well played. Redemption for the gem take, I guess, but EHOME take the biggest advantage, it feels like, of the game so far with a big fight there. Not enough to really seal the deal. And it's not like IG really have their backs against the wall at this point, but it's definitely a step in the right direction for EHOME. For IG, they've looking to just kind of bring up more farm here. Build up Burning quite a bit, but it's EHOME with that Aegis in hand. And it looks like we'll wait, or Warcraft. I'm not too sure what WC means. It's not Kale,
Water
it's not
closet.
Kale. The water closet, yes. It's so funny you say that. At my old restaurant job, we had 2 bathrooms. It was a pretty fancy restaurant. So there was 2 bathrooms. I always had to tell everyone where they were because we had no like restaurant sign. No one ever knew where the hell it was. But then they get there and it's like 2 orange doors and they both say WC on it. And everyone's like, I don't know where the hell I'm supposed to go piss. They didn't know if it was water closet. I don't know if that's, I mean, at least in America, nobody knows what the hell a water closet is. So a lot of confusion there. I just never hear anyone else say water closet. That's why it just caught me off guard.
I definitely don't use it day to day, but
Hello,
you
my
see
lady.
it. You see it occasionally.
You need to
Whereabouts?
And if you step into the water closet and maybe put on your face, we'll continue our night of luscious evening. But looks like we're ready to go. ROTK says, "Gee, Chuan, also ready. Let's snap it up, boys." There we go. Back underway. It's IG ahead 1 game here in this best-of-3 series. EHOME, though, looking to put together a win so they can tie it up 1-1 and take it to a game number 3. Because at this point, IG are at the top of the group. The win here, they secure their spot in stage number 2. EHOME would love to start out their group run, at least with 1 big win here in the roster debut.
So Ferrari, recent acquisition for him, he's got his Hex now, so we could see some more plays similar to the first game where he manages to go in and completely control both of the supports on the back lines. If he manages to, say, for example, get the Orchid onto the Dazzle and hexes up the Lion, and they just before they can do anything, then that could be completely game-winning. If he ends up going for one of the cores, there is potential Grave. There's a potential Force Staff as well from DDC, so EHOME do still have a little bit of counterplay, but it's the supports who have to be careful now that Ferrari has an extra disable on top of everything else. And IG just going for the split push play for now. Definitely not going to take a head-on team fight just for this tier 2.
Yeah, it looks like it'll be a tier 2 for a tier 2, but EHOME are happy to also press their luck by pushing into the top of the base here, but immediately reinforcements show up. Form Bluo, which is early Sunbeam, able to burst down those creeps. Still, though, your Necrobook and Wolves on hand. Maybe do a little bit of early damage to the next creep wave spawn, but EHOME are already out the back door. Not looking to push any further here. They still have Aegis, if I'm not mistaken, yes, on Inflame.
He's got too much gold for them to force it there. He really wants to buy an item, so...
Well, buy something, buddy. It's going to be a Scotty. At least 1 ultimate orb for now. Surely you want to spend somewhat of that luscious gold you got there. 6.3k. I guess he wants to wait.
Is it going to be Scotty or is it going to be Butterfly? That's the $1,000,000 question. I think.
Well, Burning is holding a good chunk of change.
Oh, never mind. It's just Daedalus. Okay. There you go.
All right. Well, he hits hard.
Yep. I think he was honestly. I think Inflame may have been a little bit frustrated last game by the fact that he bought almost all survivability and he just died anyway every single fight. So this is Inflame's revenge. He's just buying damage and is gonna actually get some right clicks in to make up for what he wasn't able to do in the previous game.
Like, I'm gonna go back.
That's my storyline, and I'm sticking with it.
Yeah, I agree with it. It's like I'm going back to the Shadowfiend streets with this build. I'm not going into your mech Yules crap. Going back to the good old classic BKB Shadowblade and now Daedalus, which he has not shown off yet. Imagine what's on route. Yeah, the courier's got it now. This ugly frickin' courier gonna be delivering this ugly item to Inflame. ugly damage awaits. His bottom tier 2 very low. Should take a few pops right here after clearing out the wave to finish off. Manta will help secure it. There you go. All outer towers for IG got to be dropped right here. IG trying to at least keep the pressure elsewhere as they look to finish off the last outer tower for EHOME, and we'll get it. It's Ferrari who grabs that one up, which, by the way, he's thrown together some incredible farm the last time I checked in with him. Now has his scythe and plus 3,500 gold on top of it. That's ridiculous. He is not top in net worth, but he's at third, and he's pretty close alongside with the Burning's Jug and ZFY's Lycan.
It's that Bloodstone, man. It's just such a farm accelerator for the Storm Spirit.
Dire's top tower is under
Very
attack.
big stuff. And there's going to be your Force Stiff grab on the Faith. He's also pretty wealthy. Normally you're just like happy to get an Agnum Scepter on your AA, but managing to pull together a bit of extra farm with that Midas. Add a little bit more to his tool belt, but I mean, it's not surprising, man. I wouldn't be surprised that EHOMER's not even going to put to use this Aegis. Seems like they're just, yep, they are. I mean, last game it happened like that as well. Don't seem quite as urgent to really use that Aegis like we see from other regions. They're just like, oh, we have Aegis, we benefit from that, so now we can have dominance here and kind of do what we want. But no opportunity to use it. We'll see if IG kind of kept their eyes on the clock, waiting for the Aegis to go down, and then maybe they go for their move. Wasn't it last game where they kind of, at this point, pulled out some, like, huge smoke flank plays to pull themselves back into the game? I'm just curious to see if they look to do the same.
Yeah, could definitely be an option now that they know that the Aegis is down, so that's a big advantage for EHOME. Inflame's also shown off his items, so you know, showing that he hasn't grabbed any extra survivability, and if they do somehow manage to catch him out, could burst him down just the same as they did in the previous game. I think there's a lot to be said for EHOME's caution, and talked about it a while ago with that potential push on the mid lane, but the same story now that they've done all the prep work, they've taken all the tier 2s, they've set themselves up so that if they happen to win a fight in a really lopsided way, they can just end the game. There's no questions asked about you know, oh, we only get 1 lane or 2 lanes, and then IG get another opportunity. At this stage, if EHOME win a big fight, then that should probably be the game. Also, a lot of respect paid to the fact that Burning and Ferrari are both going to have buybacks to throw in if EHOME commit too deep into the base, and you can see that they are both holding on to it, you know, just for that small chance that EHOME do choose to just man up and push for whatever reason, be it impatience or, you know, feeling very confident with a new item pickup.
Still EHOME yet to take the net worth lead in this series. This is so funny. Every time I look, it's like they're just so close. Like 1K, 500 gold away. Then IG's like, nope. Gonna take a big fight, take it right back. And then EHOME again, get close. But this is that smoke play I'm talking about, man. This is where they look to go. I don't want to say necessarily all in, but this is hopefully going to be the big game changer for them. A big jump here, catching a team like EHOME off guard. Unfortunately for them, they are going in the wrong direction. EHOME are behind them.
And they didn't smoke the Storm, so he was scouted by the Wolf. So, I mean, it's plausible that he's out by himself, but he also killed the Wolf, which means that the gem carrier was right nearby. And I think EHOME realized that they're actually smoked, putting all of that together.
Yeah. Some good detective work for EHOME if that is the case. And, well, now Shadow
Hardy Boys over here.
Yeah, exactly. They move in. But look at how deep now IG are. They're just crowded in a corner. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Inflame. Invis ends. There's going to be the jump. Oh, out from the woodwork comes IG. It's the blast. Comes out, clears out the Shadow Fiend. Immediate buyback for him. Abyssal Blade locked down onto your Lycan. Will Burning chop it home. Shallow Grave keeps him alive. Manta split to avoid the excess damage. Burning spins the hell out, but gets the kill as they are able to take down the Lycan. Shadow Fiend back from the dead, looking to target Ferrari. Barely alive. Luo holds on, goes up to the north to get away. Requiem going to be unleashed still. No one to drop on the side of IG. Burning re-engages, takes down Shadow Fiend. Die back for him. Double kill for Burning, and the flank play, the smoke play, whatever you want to call it, works out for IG as they wipe out all 5. They could actually take the Rex here because Lycan's out for over a minute. Shadow Fiend's out for 100 seconds. ROTK, the only one with the buyback, out for a minute. IG might have just done it again.
The execution was just so good. I mean, we talked about the potential for the Shadow Fiend for this Daedalus pickup to come back and bite him, and being the first one up, getting hexed, getting immediately isolated from his team, and bursted down, and that's gonna be it. In one fell swoop, IG just once again end the game.
That's just ridiculous. It just, and for poor EHOME there, I checked the end, they will not be able to get the net worth lead, not 1 point in this whole series. You're watching the games, though, and you feel like there are so many opportunities, so many times where EHOME just has clear control of the game. They'll have, like, big Roche takedowns. They'll have Aegis in hand, and it's their opportunity to kind of look to go to the base, but it just ends up getting stalled out, and you could put credit to that for someone like Ferrari, who makes good opportunities, good split push, and, well, with his good engagements, this IG squad, man, they have a really good thing going for them. They went from a team that seemed very hot and cold. You felt like there was a lot of weird internal struggles between the players, but now bringing in someone like Burning, you're seeing a whole lot of beautiful synergy amongst them. And, of course, got to say props to EHOME. They brought their game, and they made a good debut with the roster, and there's definitely a lot of potential there. They gave IG a good run for the money, but, hey, IG walk away undefeated in Group 1.
Yeah, I don't think you can take anything away from EHOME this series. They played really well. It was neck and neck the whole way, and I think the biggest gold lead we probably saw out of both of the games was just less than 10K probably, which for 50-minute plus games speaks to a lot of the level of these two teams. But Ferrari Storm Spirit, I don't know if you can give the guy this hero. They're first picking it. They don't even care. They gave EHOME every opportunity to counterpick it as much as they wanted. But Ferrari still did so much heavy lifting on the Storm this game.
Might need to rethink. I mean, once again, we don't know exactly what happens in scrim play, but that first continuous ban on Silencer might have been a bit of a trouble for them. I mean, I'm not going to say it's all on that, but maybe having something like a Silencer against that Storm Spirit could have been pretty beneficial. But because Ferrari's able to kind of go off on a roll, he brings his team and helps his team bring in the victory. So props to them. That's going to conclude our first best of 3 series, but that's not all that's happening today. We have another series coming up. It's going to be Newbie taking on Hyper Glory Team. That will be coming up next, and I believe that will end the run here for Cameron or for Basskip. And my man, it was a pleasure as always. Thanks for joining me. Anything you want to say before we let you go?
No, just thanks for having me on. If anybody wants to show a little bit of support, of course, they can find me on Facebook, Twitter. It's all just under Basskip. If you want to leave any feedback as well, I'd love to hear from people as well. So you can email me at basskipdota@gmail.com. I check that pretty regularly and try to get back to people. But yeah, just once again, thanks. I had a fantastic time.
Thanks, man. All right, you heard him. Show him some love. Folks, stick around. We got more Dota coming up. I'll be back with the exact time, and it should be coming up momentarily. Take care. We'll be back in a hot moment.
G2A.com, the best video game store ever! Fast as lightning, solid as a rock, cheap as duck! What's more, you can sell on it because it's also a marketplace. Remember, G2A.com, the best video game store ever!